Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I pay tribute to Ernie Ross, a formidable campaigner who served this place and his constituents with great distinction for 3 decades. Mr. Speaker, I will pay my respects and tribute to James Brokenshire immediately after this Prime Minister's questions. Can I thank the whole House for the way the tributes to Sir David were handled on Monday? We saw the best of this House, and I want to see if we can use that collaborative spirit to make progress on one of the issues that was raised on Monday, tackling violent extremism. It's 3 years since the government promised an online safety bill, but it's not yet before the House. Meanwhile, the damage caused by harmful content online is worse than ever. Dangerous algorithms on Facebook and Instagram and Hope Not Hate have shown me an example of violent Islamism and far-right propaganda on TikTok. What I was shown has been reported to the moderators, but it stayed online because apparently it didn't contravene the guidelines. I have to say I find that hard to believe. So will the Prime Minister build on the desire shown by this House on Monday to get things done and commit to bring forward the second reading of the online safety bill by the end of this calendar year? If he does, we'll support it.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the right honourable gentleman for the spirit in which he has approached this issue, and I echo what he says about the need for cooperation across the House, because the safety of MPs, indeed of all public servants, everybody who engages with the public, is of vital importance, and the online safety bill is of huge importance to, it's one of the most important tools in our armoury. And what we're doing is ensuring that we crack down on companies that promote illegal and dangerous content, and will be toughening up those provisions. But, Mr. Speaker, what we are also going to do is ensure that the online safety bill does complete its stages before this House, before Christmas. And I'm delighted, or rather, that we do bring forward bring it forward before Christmas in the way that he suggests. And I'm delighted, Mr. Speaker, that he is offering his support, and we look forward to that.
Keir Starmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the Prime Minister. I think from that, and this isn't a challenge, it's to clarify, that the pre-legislative scrutiny will be finished in early December, and that the second reading could, I think, be before the end of this calendar year. But we do need to get on with this. Telegram has been described as the app of choice for extremists. And, Mr. Speaker, if you can believe it, if the House can believe it, as we were paying tribute to Sir David on Monday, Telegram users could access videos of murders and violent threats against politicians, the LGBT community, women and Jews, as we were paying our respects. Some of these posts are illegal, all of them are harmful, and Hope Not Hate and the Board of Deputies have said that Telegram has, in their words, facilitated and nurtured a subculture that cheerleads for terrorists. Tough sanctions are clearly needed. Yet, under the government's current proposals, directors of platforms failing to crack down on extremism would still not face criminal sanctions. Why is that?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it is this government that brought forward an online harms bill, Mr. Speaker, and he's heard what I've said. He's heard what I've said about the second reading before Christmas. And in the collegiate spirit in which he announced he began his questioning, I can tell him that we will continue to look at ways in which we can toughen up those provisions and to come down hard on those who irresponsibly allow dangerous and extremist content to permeate the internet. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm delighted that he's taking this new tough line, and I very much hope that he will get the rest of his party in the lobbies with us to join him.
Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, I did start in a collegiate spirit, and I'll continue in a collegiate spirit because I listened hard to what was being said on the opposite benches on Monday about the concerns about this issue. And we do need to recognise the measures in the bill, but we do need tough and effective sanctions, and that means criminal sanctions. And that does matter, Mr. Speaker. It is frankly beyond belief that, as the Mirror reported yesterday, 40 hours of hateful content from Anjem Choudhury could be easily accessed online. The Prime Minister and the Government could stop this by making it clear that directors of companies are criminally liable for failing to tackle this type of material on their sites. We don't need to delay, so in the collaborative spirit we saw in this House on Monday, will the Prime Minister commit to taking this away, looking at it again and working with all of us to strengthen his proposed legislation?
Prime Minister.
I've already said that we're willing to look at anything to strengthen the legislation. I've said that we're willing to bring it forward, and we will bring it forward to second reading before Christmas. And yes, of course, Mr. Speaker, we will have criminal sanctions with tough sentences for those who are responsible for allowing this foul content to permeate the internet, Mr. Speaker. But what we hope for also is that no matter how tough the proposals we produce, that the opposition will support it.
Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, we're making progress. We've got the second reading committed to before Christmas. That is a good thing. And I think the Prime Minister is now committed to criminal sanctions. At the moment, they're a fallback position at the discretion of the Minister. They should be, in my view, on the face of the bill as the automatic default for the failure to act. Now, if we're making progress on that, then we're beginning to address some of the issues that were identified across the House on Monday. Can I turn to the report, the Commission for Countering Extremism, which was set up in the wake of the horrific Manchester bombings? 8 months ago, that Commission made recommendations to plug gaps in existing legislation and strategy, gaps that extremists have been able to exploit and are continuing to exploit. Yet Sir Mark Rowley, formerly head of our counter-terrorism policing, who led on those recommendations, said just this week, "I've had no feedback from the Home Office on their plans in relation to our report on the absence of a coherent legal framework to tackle hateful extremism." Given the seriousness of the matter and the clear need for action, why has the Government not responded to this important work? And will the Prime Minister now commit to act swiftly on the Commission's recommendations?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Government and my right honourable friend, the Home Secretary, works with all parties to tackle violent extremism, and the UK has one of the strongest counter-terrorism and counter-extremism systems in the world, as a consequence of which we have foiled 31 terrorist plots since 2017. And I pay tribute to the work of Sir Mark Rowley, with whom I worked extremely closely while I was in London, and all those who are involved in foiling those terrorist plots. And I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, that they will receive the complete support of this House and of this Government, nor will we allow them to be released, or those who are convicted, to be released early from prison, Mr. Speaker, because that was one of the most important things this Government passed and which that party opposed.
Keir Starmer.
Really? After the week we've just had, I really don't want to descend to that kind of knockabout. Mr. Speaker, either we take this seriously, and I'm taking my lead from those on the opposite benches on Monday and what they were saying about the need to tackle this. Either we take it seriously and go forward together, or we do a disservice to those that we pay tributes to. There are clearly problems with the Government's counter-extremism strategy. Internet users are increasingly likely to come across extremist content online. The Government's own independent reviewer has said that there is no evidence that the Government's key de-radicalisation programme is effective. That's the Government's independent reviewer saying that. And we've seen a spate of lone attack killings with the perpetrator invariably radicalised online. We all want to stop this across this House, but at the moment things are getting worse, not better. So what urgent plans does the Prime Minister have to fix these glaring problems?